Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Okay, this is an impromptu live. We did not have this planned, so I'm not going to take up a lot of your time here. We did not have this planned, so we didn't know we were going to do this live. So I want you guys to just bear with us real quick. I'm going to give it a few minutes for people to come on in. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to come in. This is a breaking news story, so I'm going to give a few minutes and we're going to get started. I'm not going to waste anybody's time. We're going to give it 1 minute and a half. 1 minute and a half and we'll start. 1 minute and a half and we'll start. We're not going to do the long waiting. So we're going to wait for everybody to come in. Make sure you hit the likes on the way in, and we're going to be quick. We're not going to waste time here. Yeah, Mark Law, it looks like you're right, man. It looks like you're right. We got 40 seconds. I'm not going to wait for a long time. People just have to catch up to this live. But this is a breaking news that I want to report to you guys, and we want to get ahead of this story. So we're giving it 30 more seconds. 30 more seconds. Send out your notifications. Do whatever you have to do. Send out the likes. We're going to start in 30 seconds because I don't want, in the past, it looks like I'm keeping people here forever. I'm going to drop the link. Just give me a second. I'm going to drop the link. Give me a second. So I just want to make sure we get this right. I want to make sure we get this right. Okay. We're going live right now. Okay. Okay. As you guys know, we just finished doing a live like maybe a few hours ago. I just actually finished eating my dinner. Had no idea that I was going to do a live. No idea at all. I want to give a big shout out. Okay, I want to give a big shout out to one of our members on our channel. He's the one that sent me this information first. His name is Sam Hooker. Just a moment here. Let me confirm his name. But his name is Sam. He also messaged us on Instagram with this information here. So I'm going to share it with you guys. And the information is from a reliable source. So let me just first of all make sure I'm getting his name right. His name is Sam. I can't log into my Instagram right now. I can't log into it, but his name is Sam, and he's definitely on our channel. He's definitely on Dreamerspro Max. If you guys are coming in, just please make sure you hit the likes. He's also on Dreamerspro Max. Let me just get his name. His name is Sam for sure. I can't find it here, but anyway, he knows. He's also one of the members on our channel. He may pop up in the comment section at some point. Anyway, so I was okay. There you go, Sam Hooker. There you go. Shout out to Sam. Shout out to Sam Hooker. He's the one that messaged us on Instagram. Shout out to Sam. Shout out to Sam Hooker. So he messaged us on IG, and he said Kawhi Leonard may be coming back. And I'm like, what are you talking about here? Kawhi Leonard is coming back. I said, please, of course. Can you send me your source? So he sent me a source that I'm going to post later. But if I post it now, you guys are going to leave the chat. But anyway, I have the source here. It's from CBS Sports. Okay, it's from CBS Sports. And if CBS Sports, they have an NBA kind of page or section or whatever it is. I'll post it here. You guys can take a look at it. This is the link here that I got. Anyway, so if you go there and you look at the roster, you will quickly see where it has injuries, right? If you go to injuries, you'll see that they listed the Clippers that are injured. You have Serge Ibaka that was listed on June 13th. Serge is out for the season for back. Then you go to Ivica Zubac. They're talking about tomorrow, and they're saying that game time decision, knee. And then if you look at Kawhi Leonard, they're now listing Kawhi Leonard as a game time decision. Well, this flies in the face of every single thing that we've been hearing up until this point. Up until this point, we've been hearing that Kawhi Leonard is not coming back. You know, he's upset with the Clippers medical staff. We even heard recently that Stephen A. Smith said that the Clippers should move on from Kawhi Leonard, all of these different things. Well, according to CBS Sports, and I asked Sam about this, I said, well, why haven't any other sources reported on this? And he said, well, maybe they'll release the information at a later point. But it turns out that what they're saying right now is that he's a game time decision. And some people may say, but how do you know that this could just be clickbait, right? This could be clickbait. Like, how do you know? Well, it's very simple. It's a fundamental thing for the people that may be skeptical. If Kawhi Leonard was in fact gone, they would just list him as out, and it would give the reason, like Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka is gone for the season, and they listed his back. So Kawhi Leonard and Ivica Zubac are under the same classification as far as their injury status. They're both game time decisions. If this information is true, which I believe it is true, this changes everything. This changes everything. It changes everything, and it makes perfect sense, because if he was truly gone for the season, why didn't they just rule him out the same way they did Serge Ibaka and just give him and just have his surgery? If you begin to put 2 and 2 together, they would have already ruled him out. He'd already done his surgery. They'd have known, listen, you can't come back from this thing. So go do your surgery and then come back and you see him on the sideline. Because Serge Ibaka, some people may feel, well, Serge should play. Serge should be able to play. He's standing on the court. Serge is not basketball ready. Although you see him there, it doesn't mean he can play. He's standing there. He's standing in street clothes. It doesn't mean he can play. So if Kawhi Leonard was truly gone, they would have just made him, they would just said he's gone for the season. But they have never said that. It's always been other people, Brian Windhorst, or this person or that person is saying, oh, Kawhi Leonard may be gone, this and this and this. But this is what it's looking like. It's saying, they're now saying it's a game time decision. And if that is true, it will make perfect sense as to why Kawhi Leonard has not been ruled out yet. So you guys can go to CBS.com and just read it for yourself. You can just read it for yourself. I'm not going to argue with any trolls or anybody that wants to be silly. Go read it for yourself. I don't have time to waste with idle people here. Nobody has that time, right? Like we're not bored. So if this is true, this changes everything. This changes everything, because I think the last thing that everybody expected, or anybody expected rather, was Kawhi Leonard to come back. No one expected that. And given the reports that we've been hearing that, oh, he's not happy with the medical staff. Even Skip Bayless, y'all remember, Skip Bayless said that Kawhi Leonard is unhappy with the team and he's not coming back. If that is true, why didn't he just do surgery? Why didn't the team just rule him out? Why are you seeing Kawhi Leonard attending film study sessions with his team? Why is he there like that? Now, you know Serge is there, but why is Kawhi Leonard always a part of the game time plan? Why isn't he sitting down at the court instead of sitting in the box? And I said the reason I believe Kawhi Leonard is at the box instead of the court, because there's no way anything can crash into him or anything like that. I think it's just a precautionary measure. Some people are saying he needs to sit on the bench. Why? If he's at practice, he's always communicating with the guys. For him to go sit in front of the bench is just eye service. That's all it is. If you were Ty Lue, will you have 2019 KD situation back in the back of your mind, or have him come back? What would you do? I think that, thank you for that question. I think that's a very good question. I think that the Clippers have done the wise thing. And it's maybe something that the Golden State Warriors didn't do. Maybe the Golden State Warriors, from what I heard back then, probably what they did, again, for the new people coming in, that want to hear that Kawhi Leonard may be coming back. I got it from a reliable source through Sam, through CBS.com. Here's the link again, so people don't come and start asking me silly questions. Let me see if I can pin it to the top pin message. Okay, I think I've pinned it. I think the message has been pinned. I'm not sure. Anyway, so you can go check it out there. They're listing him as a game time decision. He has the same injury report or the injury status as as Ivica Zubac. And you'll clearly see when you go there that Serge Ibaka is listed as gone for the season, whereas Kawhi Leonard is a game time decision. So that's the information that I'm getting there, and that information was given to me by Sam. To finish your question about, So listen, I think from what I heard with the Golden State Warriors, what I think happened with them was this. KD was rehabilitating, and I think that KD somehow felt some type of subtle pressure to come back, whether it may be through some of his teammates, maybe it would be through some of the things that maybe some of the Golden State employee staff were saying to him, whatever it was. And I think KD felt some type of pressure, whether if it was overt or covert, whatever the pressure was, he kind of felt that to come back. And ultimately he did come back. And I think he did feel some pressure because KD seems to be one of these people that kind of lets outside voices influence his reasoning and his thinking and his actions. And ultimately he came back, and which I thought was a bad decision, a decision that he paid for dearly. So that's what I think happened there. I think with the Clippers, though, and again, this is just speculation because they have him as a game time decision, and a game time decision basically means this guy's not ruled out. That's what it's saying there, right? And we're trying to make sense of it here, and I'm going off of the source. Now you can make of it what you want. I think if you're generally going to be a skeptical person, you're going to be skeptical of the information that I'm saying, regardless of anything. Like I think some people will not believe until they see him on the court. That's fine. That's your prerogative. But that's up to you. That's your decision to make. My job is not to come here and convince you. My job is to give you the information. With the Clippers, however, I feel that the Clippers took a different approach. They took the smart approach. The Clippers probably said, you know what, Kawhi, whatever you need to do to make you feel comfortable, have at it. If you want to take, if you want to rehabilitate, if you want to do things with your medical staff, have at it, which I think is a smart thing to do. It sends the right signal, not just to the current team that they have, but also future free agents. Free agents know, okay, if I come to the Clippers and something goes wrong with me, if I get injured, these guys are not going to try to force me to get out there and go play, right? So I think the Clippers handle it properly to answer your question. And if it was me, I think I would, if I was a coach, I would tell him, listen, Kawhi, don't feel the need that you need to come back here and play. Don't feel the need. I will say exactly what Paul George said in the video that we released, I think it was a day or two ago, when Paul George told Kawhi Leonard, listen, the most important thing is your health. The number one thing is your health. So don't feel like you need to be on the court with us. The most important thing to us here is your health moving forward, and we're going to do our best to hold down the fort. And I think that's what I would say. I wouldn't try to force the guy to come back because that's just a selfish move. It benefits him in no way. Making him doing that to him benefits Kawhi Leonard in no way. So what happens if he does come back? How does this change things? Well, I think if Kawhi Leonard does come back, I think there are going to be some pros and there are going to be some cons. The pros are obviously you're now adding your best player back into the rotation, right? So you've gotten stronger, right? You have Kawhi Leonard. You have somebody else that they need to worry about as far as the Suns, somebody else they need to game plan for. They can't key in on Paul George. Paul George does not need to worry about being the number one option. I think you'll see other players play a little bit better, like Marcus Morris Sr. Because listen, for the Clippers to be successful without Kawhi Leonard, you really need Reggie Jackson to play well every single night and Marcus Morris. If it's not going to be Marcus Morris, it's Terrence Mann. But when you have Kawhi Leonard, it takes that pressure off of everybody else. So that's the pro. Okay, but however, excuse me, I just had my dinner. If he does come back, there is a drawback to that. Okay, some of you, but what's the drawback with having Kawhi Leonard? It's a win-win. No, not necessarily. If you're going to look at this from a strategic standpoint, there may be a drawback. What's the drawback? Have you guys noticed? Okay, whenever Paul George in the regular season, to give you guys an example, whenever Kawhi Leonard was injured and Paul George was the number one option, he was the driving force on the team, Paul George would flourish in that role, right? He will flourish. However, what if they're using this for mind games? Probably so. I don't know. But thanks for that, Deuce Don. I'm just throwing out the information that I read. I've pinned it to the top. People can make of it what they want. I'm kind of making my own decision on here. And it's up to you to make of it what you want. If you feel like if it's not true or it's whatever clickbait, then just keep it pushing. Don't waste your own time. Anyway, there's a drawback though, because whenever Kawhi Leonard missed games and he came back to play with Paul George, there was usually an adjustment period. And the person that usually would be affected the most usually was Paul George. Paul George would usually be the guy that gets affected the most because the team now is starting to learn how to play with him again. There was an adjustment period There's usually like this kind of adjustment period. And in my estimation, one of the fears I have is in an elimination game at home, in a game 6, could something like that happen where Kawhi Leonard comes back and he ends up messing up the chemistry somehow? That's one of my fears, because it could happen, because he's going to take shots. They're going to have to try to play with them again. Now they've played what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games without him, 5 or 6 games without him. So for them to kind of reintegrate him, there may be like a learning curve, and to kind of make all of that work in a game can be a dangerous thing. Let me read your comment here, Ryan. If I was Ty Lue, I would do the same thing the Nets did with Harden came back from the hamstring. He was just a distraction. Harden was more of a decoy. That's a very good point, and that's a very good point. Let me quickly say this. Okay, then I'll get back to your point. Did you notice that DeMarcus Cousins getting fed up in the post constantly? I would rather have him start instead of Zubac because he can also shoot threes. That's understandable. Maybe Ty Lue likes him maybe for his Vincent Zubac, maybe it's for his defensive edge. But overall, DeMarcus Cousins is a better all-around player when he's on top of his game. I understand that. But back to Ryan's point, since they're talking about Scottie Pippen and all of this different stuff, I want to quickly touch on this point here to the Kawhi thing about being a decoy. If you guys remember the Last Dance documentary, the last episode when they were in Game 6 in Utah, and Scottie Pippen had a bad back. If you guys remember well, go back to that game and remember it. Scottie Pippen was injured, if you guys remember. And Jordan told Scottie, he said, listen, I know you're injured, but I will feel a lot better with you out there. And Scottie Pippen said what the Utah Jazz did not know was he was just a decoy. Scottie Pippen had no intention of being a threat on the floor as far as he wasn't looking to score. But the defense didn't know that. They didn't know that. So Kawhi Leonard could definitely do something like that. For sure, he would add to the spacing. My only concern is, will he be the Kawhi we need? Is there going to be a little bit of rust? If he does play, I think Kawhi Leonard, hey, you made it. You made it. Winning like 96. Welcome in. You made it. I think if he does play, he needs to play with limited minutes. I think he needs to play with limited minutes because he's not going to just knock off, 2 weeks of not playing, not just regular basketball, playoff basketball, just walk through the door and start playing. Now, I don't know the type of conditioning Kawhi Leonard is in. Again, for the new people coming in that are saying, hey, what the heck is going on? Kawhi Leonard may be coming back. There's a source on CBSSports.com that just said, I could be wrong, but this is just what this is what I'm making of it. You can make of it whatever you want. Obviously, the Clippers are going to release a statement on whether or not Kawhi Leonard will play or not. This is just me. So you can make of it whatever you want. They're listing Kawhi Leonard as a game time decision. Now, some people may say, well, it's clickbait. Why in the hell would they list somebody that's injured as a game time decision? That make any kind of sense to you? Why would you list a person that is gone as a game time decision if, in fact, he's just injured, that he's not gone? If he was injured, they would not be putting him there as a game time decision. Now, some people have said, well, it could be for strategic purposes. Maybe they want to keep the Phoenix Suns on their heels, but I don't think so. Now, I don't think so. It could be true, but I don't think so. And again, we all are free to make of it what we want. This is what we're making of it, and everybody's free to make of it what they want. We've pinned that to the top of the comment section there, so you can go ahead and check that out if you want. But that may be an issue with him coming back, his rust, his wind, and all of this. But I don't think you bring Kawhi Leonard back from an injury and you ask him to play 35, 40 minutes. But then the next question is, if Kawhi Leonard has been rehabbing, what has he been doing as far as conditioning? Has he been on the bike? Has he been training inside the pool? We don't know. But I think there's a possibility that he may come back. And I think if he does come back, I think that's the worst possible scenario, worst case scenario for everyone else that's not rooting for them. I think that's the worst case scenario. Appreciate that, JS. I think that's the worst case scenario. But given the information that we got, this is what I think. I think he could possibly come back. I think he could possibly come back because they're saying it's a game time decision, and that's the same status that Ivica Zubac has, and they both have knee issues. Now, some people may say, "Well, I've heard other." Well, listen, I haven't heard anything. I'm just hearing now that Stephen A. Smith fires off a crazy take and says Clippers should move on from Kawhi Leonard. Well, it looks like Stephen A. Smith. Let me see. Red Hood. Kawhi doesn't mind deferring if he comes back and Clippers. Yeah, I totally agree. Thanks for that, Red Hood. Appreciate that. It looks like Stephen A. Smith, from what I'm hearing, just the source is pinned to the top. It looks like Stephen A. Smith, from what I've been hearing, is saying that the Clippers should move off from Kawhi Leonard. And I think the better piece of advice is, or the better question, the better suggestion rather should be, should the ESPN move on from Stephen A. Smith? I think that's even a better question, given the fact that no one really likes Stephen A. Smith. Kwame Brown has totally exposed him, and no one is really checking for him. The bigger question is, should ESPN replace him? That's the bigger question. I've already told you guys that Stephen A. Smith doesn't like Kawhi Leonard. This is what he does. Look at his work. This is his life work. This is his purpose, to go after a guy that doesn't play, that doesn't talk, that's just there trying to rehab from an injury, and he's talking about, should they go? Only Stephen A. Smith can say something as stupid as that. So basically, because Kawhi Leonard got injured, so basically you're telling me, so the Lakers should move on from Anthony Davis too, huh? Because he got injured, right? Huh? They should move on from him too, right? Because he has an injury pad. They should move on from him too, right? Only Stephen A. Smith. I've already given you guys my thoughts and opinion on him. I don't think Stephen A. Smith really matters as to what is happening really in the real world with real sports fans. I think Stephen A. Smith is living in a bubble on TV, a digital bubble that makes him feel like his views are important, and it's only important to the people that tune into ESPN. But to the regular person out there, nobody was really checking for Stephen A. Smith. Nobody's really checking for Stephen A. Smith. Now, I know ESPN and these guys make a lot of money because they have a certain amount of viewers tuning in. People on YouTube are getting way more viewers than ESPN, period, end of story. Independent guys are getting way more views. So nobody really cares for Stephen A. Smith. And I don't really care what he says. If he says he should move on, then that's his opinion. I don't want to waste a second of my time talking about Stephen A. Smith when I can be talking about Kawhi Leonard. I just saw one of his stupid outlandish comments. So it looks like CBS Sports is saying that Kawhi Leonard may come back. If he does, man, I think it puts the Clippers in the driver's seat. I think it definitely puts them in the driver's seat. I think this is something that they've been working on in the past. I've noticed that no one has definitively said Kawhi Leonard is ruled out. Every time I listen to Coach Ty Lue, even just before they went to Utah, before they traveled, they asked the coach, did Kawhi travel with you? He said no. What did he say? He's back in LA getting treatment. So help me understand. Why would a player that's gone be getting treatment? Treatment for what? Treatment for next season? If that was the case, Ty Lue would just simply come out and say, Kawhi Leonard is not coming back. Simple. Easy peasy. Ivica Zubac suffered a knee issue. An issue I didn't even know. If I try to look up what exactly is Ivica Zubac, Ivica Zubac injury. I'm not actually sure what his injury is. He has a knee injury, but what is it exactly about? I'm trying to figure out he sprained, has a sprained medical collateral ligament in his right knee, the team announced, and is ruled out for the potential elimination game. So he has some type of knee sprain. He sprained his knee somehow. This is the link for that. You guys can read up on it. Let me post the Ivica Zubac link from the LA Times. You guys can read up on that for yourselves and kind of hunt down that information for yourself. But listen, Ivica Zubac and Kawhi Leonard have the same status as far as they both have knee issues, and MCL sprain and ACL sprain. Yeah, so it looks like these guys could possibly be coming back. I know for sure Ivica Zubac, if the series continues, he's going to come back. That I have no doubt about. The question is, will Kawhi Leonard come back? And you know what, guys? I'm going to give you guys my gut feeling right now. This is my gut feeling. I think Kawhi Leonard comes back tomorrow. I think he's going to come back tomorrow. There's something unusual about this Clippers team in the terms of it seems like it's destined to be. Like, think of all the teams that have been eliminated these playoffs. The Clippers are not the only team that has faced injury. Think of KD. Think of the Brooklyn Nets. Think of some of the other teams that have been eliminated from these playoffs. They're gone. But yet and still, the Clippers just somehow, some way, try to find a way to come back and win these games. Like when you think that they're done, that they're gone, that there's no coming back, they somehow win. And you're like, is this going to be a Cinderella story? Are you telling me that we could possibly see? Now, it's not a given. They got to win 2 games. But they could come back again from being down 0-2 for the 3rd time in a row in the same playoffs. That would be unheard of. But that's just the type of playoffs they're having. Truth be told, the Clippers shouldn't even still be in the playoffs. They have no business being in the playoffs right now, truth be told. Most teams would have folded. They would have thrown in the towel and said, I'm out of here. But for them to keep winning games and now Kawhi Leonard possibly comes back, listen, I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm going to go out on a limb, and I think he's coming back tomorrow. Now, if he doesn't come back, then it looks like I was wrong. But how is this information even coming out that they're now saying that it's a game time decision? Do you know what a game time decision is? A game time decision basically means it's 50-50. It's 50-50. He's probably going to come out there. He's going to warm up, try to go through a shoot around, and they're probably going to ask him, Kawhi, do you think you can play? If Kawhi Leonard said, yes, I can play, he'll play. If he says, I don't feel like I'll play, I don't think he'll play. But if he does play, I think the Clippers, they're not out of the woods because they still have to win. But I think it's going to be demoralizing to the Phoenix Suns, no matter what they tell themselves. Because the Phoenix Suns, they would have said to themselves, wait a minute, this team has beaten us twice without their best player. We've beaten them 3 times without their best player. And now we're going to beat them all of a sudden when their best player comes back and he just finished beating us. I don't know what that does to the Phoenix Suns psychologically. I don't know what it does. Now, some people have been asking, why did the Clippers keep being poo-pooed on? Why do they keep being hated on? And I think it's a very simple reason why the Clippers keep being hated on. I think it's a very simple reason. The Clippers must be hated on. You know why? Because a lot of people have to save face. If you think of the number of people that have counted out the Clippers, talked down on them through the course of this season, I'm talking about the big wigs, they have to be right. Because if they're wrong, think about how bad it's going to make all of them look. Who out there is picking the Clippers? Who? With the exception of Skip Bayless. And Skip Bayless, on some days, the source is pinned to the top. You can just check it out for yourself. We pinned the source at the top of the comment section. You can check it out. He's being listed as a game time decision, which is the same status that Ivica Zubac is being listed with. So I don't understand how a player that's not coming back has the same injury status as Ivica Zubac. So this live is basically us saying we think he's coming back, given that information. It's the same information I'm giving you. You make of it whatever you like. It's up to you to make of it. You can decide for yourself. So, guys, those are my thoughts. This is big news because if he does come back, then this could be this team's year. This can be this team's year against all odds. Ty Lue and the Goon Squad coming for it all. It looks like that, Candace. Appreciate that, Candace. It looks like that. So we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see. But those are my thoughts. Those are my raw opinions. Those are my raw emotions. Again, we've given the link there for you guys to check out. If you guys have any other information that's developing, make sure you follow us on Instagram. I don't know if we have the link. Let me see if I can get the link on our Instagram. Let me get the link for our Instagram. And then let me see. I'm going to put the Instagram here. If you guys want to follow us on Instagram and send us some messages, again, Sam, he's on Dreamerspro Max, so he was able to contact us there. We've posted our Instagram there, so you guys can definitely follow us there and send him some messages. Again, if you guys want to live chat during the game, make sure you guys sign up to Dreamerspro Max. That's also there as well. So these are my thoughts. This is the breaking news, and Jack Creon, thanks for following us on IG. I see you. So this is the breaking news, and this is what I see. So if he comes back, remains to be seen. But that's what I think. I think Kawhi Leonard probably does come back tomorrow. And if it does happen, then wow. Put on your seatbelt. Put on your seatbelt. Put on your seatbelt. How do you know Kawhi is on the game time decision? Just click on the link. It's right there. Click on the link and go to injury, and you'll see. Go to injury report, and it will see. It will say right there. I think we got a second grader that just joined in. I think it's clickbait. I think we just got a second grader that just jumped in on the live here. Anyway, so you guys can check it out for yourself. Anyway, guys, thanks again for this, and we'll definitely catch you guys on the next episode. Thank you guys for joining this live. Catch y'all later. All right, peace.